Tachi, lesson 9 agua. Lesson 9 now. Okay, today I'm going to give you some more nouns and work on a little bit more vocabulary in preparation for the next lesson. Okay, so to begin with, we'll go over a few French words you might already know. First, le manger, food. Le mangioma, this is food, or this is the food. Le mangioma. So, next, porridge. Here's a real hard one. Le porridge, le porridgeoma, le porridgeoma. Uh, Now the reason I say oma with it is because I want you to remember that this is inanimate. So if I add oma, it means it's inanimate. Or le jus anima, le jus oma, juice, le jus. Uh, okay, the next, de l'eau enema, water, de l'eau. Enema, as we went over a few lessons ago, uh, means that, and it also is inanimate. So, say noah paten enema. I see that over there. So, de l'eau. The next one, dilet, which is milk. Dilet. Okay, here's some other ones. Un livre, a book. Un livre. The table. You guys already remember we already did la chaise, la table, or la chaise. And I'll give you one more word just because I'm hungry right now. Le confiture. Le confiture, Oma. And that means jam. So I would say, give me some jam. Give me a pchiche le confiture, or a tête le confiture. A little bit of the jam. A tête le confiture. Okay, now we're going to go over a word that we already learned way back at the beginning, but with a different meaning. So you remember how to say I'm doing okay? Miwayan. Well, that verb, aya, not only does it mean that I am okay, but it has another meaning as what we discussed before, like a verb animate intransitive that does take a transitive object. For example, michin, michu, ni michin, ni manger, I eat the food. Well, you can also have with aya to mean I have something. So, mon frère, la tabayao, en tabayao. My brother has a table. Mon frère en tabayao. Ni mama, un jardin ayao. My mom has a garden. Ni mama, un jardin ayao. Mes amis, un lit ayao. Or mon ami un lit ayao. My friend has a bed. Mon ami un maison ayao. My friend has a house. Or you could also say mon ami ayao un maison. My friend has a house. I guess I just like to put it in a different order usually. So let's say I have something. Un livre Diane. Un livre Diane. I've got a book. Or un livre que Diane. You have a book. Let's think of some other things I can ask. Okay, le porridge que Diane chi. Do you have any porridge? Le manger que Diane chi. Do you have food? Le manger que Diane chi. The answer, oui. Apshish. Yeah, a little bit. Apshish, a bit. Or atit, some. Oui, atit. Atit le manger, Diane. Okay, now I'll ask you another question, and I want you to try and answer me yes. De l'eau que Diane chi. Oui. De l'eau. How would I say that? Oui, Diane. You can just say, yeah, I have it. Or just say, yes, oui. Or, de l'eau que Diane chi. Oui. Abshish dilet and Diane. We would say, Mashikamik dilet and Diane. I've got a lot. I won't do that word yet. Okay, Abshish dilet and Diane. Okay. Now, I'm going to give you another word. Mishk. Mishkam, nimishken, kimishken. And it means to find something. So I'll ask, Kigi mishkenchi dilet? Did you find the milk? Kigi mishkenchi dilet? Moya, no gimishken. No, I never found it. And remember, this is a transitive inanimate verb. Moya, no gimishken. I never found it. You could also say Moya, no gimishken enema. Enema meaning, that. I never found what you're talking about. No. Moya, no gimishken enema. Say, did you see the porridge? Kigiwah patenchi the porridge. Oui, giwah paten. Maga moya gimiwahten. But I didn't like it. Kigi kochiten. Kigi kochiten the porridge. Did you try the porridge? Kochita, try it. Kochiten, kochitam. Mon frère kochitam the porridge. My brother is trying the porridge. Mon frère gi kochitam the porridge. Maga no gimiwahtam. My brother tried the porridge, but he didn't like it. Mon frère gi kochitam the porridge. Maga no gimiwahtam. Or did you find water? Gi mishken de l'eau? Oui, gi mishken. Den maison gi mishken. In the house I found it. Okay, so there's a couple new words. Okay, the one other word that I want to add in here is otinam. Otin. So I'd say it means to take. Let's say mon frère giotinam le manger. My brother took the food. Or ni mama giotinam le manger chipwa kagimit shoyach. My mother took the food before we'd eaten. Chipwa means before. Ni mama giotinam le manger chipwa kagimit shoyan. Before I had eaten. Okay, now I want to give you one other thing here now, and that is in French we don't say something is on the floor or on the ground. We say dans. Or does that mean in? Okay, in michif, when I want to say something is on the road, I would say it's dans le chemin. We use the word dans for almost everything. Dans le chemin. C'est dans la table means on the table. In French, it might mean it's in the table. But in michif, we might say it's on sur dans la table, on top in the table. So it's kind of used a bit differently than in French. But it's pretty important to understand how it works. So we'd say, and there's a couple differences between how it's used in michif and how it's used in French. And the biggest difference, one of the two biggest differences, is that when you have a feminine word, like en ville, a town, when I don't say dans une ville. In French, you might say dans une ville. But in michif, you say den ville. So I say on the table. C'est dans la table. Dans la table. C'est dans la table. But if it was on a table, I would say den tab. Giwah paten. Apshish le manger den tab. Su den tab. I saw a little bit of food on top on a table. Or Gihtawagen den maison. I was born in a house. Or Gihtawagen dans l'hôpital, in the hospital. Dans l'hôpital. That's a little bit different than den maison, because that is dans en maison. But we put it together and say den maison. Or datoshkan d'une ville. I work in a town. Uh, Kind of a silly thing to say. Probably you'd say Dato shkan dans la ville. I work in the town, or I work in town. Or okay, let's see some of the other ones. Words that we already know. Um, Ninipan dans le lit, or dans lit. Ninipan dans lit. Okay, you would say dans lit, nipao. He's sleeping in a bed. So instead of saying dans un lit, we say dans lit. Um, Instead of saying dans une maison, we say d'une maison. So, uh, in other words, it's a little bit different than French. So we say la maison, une maison, d'une maison. For a bed, you would say le lit, un lit, d'un lit, in a bed. So maybe there's a kind of French somewhere that does the same thing, but I haven't heard it yet. Okay, well, now we're going to go back to another word that we learned way back at the beginning as well. Oshche. Remember how to say I'm from Hazelton. Hazelton Oshchinia. Well, Oshche doesn't just mean from. Um, it can also mean of. Um, I can say that's that man's house. I can say oui à sa maison enema. Oui à sa maison enema. Him, his house, that one. But I could also say enema la maison oui à Oshche. Or it's him from. Means it belongs to him. So probably you'd hear oui à sa maison or oui à sa maison enema. It's something you'd hear more common. Anyways, the reason I want to bring this word back is because I'm going to start making some sentences using it. So with Otnam. So say mon frère Giotnam. Mon frère Giotnam le manger la table au. My brother took the food from the table. Or un voleur Giotnam mi livre ma maison au. A thief took my books from my house. Un voleur Giotnam mi livre ma maison au. Now, probably we'd use the word for steal, gikimotiu, but I won't get into that yet. Okay, or I can say I have a book from school. Un livre d'Ian l'école au. Or I have a book from that guy over there. I could say from him. Un livre d'Ian oui au. Or I could say oui à son livre d'Ian. Him, his book, I have it. So to recap a little bit, use aya can also be a verb to mean to have for things. I have things. En maison d'Ayan. En maison aya mon frère. My brother has a house. En chaise kitayan. En chaise chi kitayan. Do you have a chair? Oui, en chaise d'Ayan. That's the first one. Second one, oshche can be used to take something from somewhere. Like Yodnam Nimaji dans la. And thirdly, dan means on something, and it's used in conjunction with almost every other preposition in michif, which we won't get into quite yet. But den maison, in a house, dans la maison, in the house, d'un lit, in a bed, dans le lit, in the bed, or yeah. So that's it for now. Okay.